Kennedy Center Honors. Honoring Buddy Guy, Dustin Hoffman, David Letterman, Natalia Makarova, Led Zeppelin. Ladies and gentlemen, Caroline Kennedy.
Good evening and welcome to the 35th Kennedy Center Honors, where once again America celebrates the richness and diversity of the performing arts. Our great poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said, "Congratulate yourselves if you have done something strange and extravagant and broken the monotony of a decorous age." Tonight, we salute honorees who, through their artistry and daring, have banished monotony and provided extravagant joy to audiences the world over. On the signature wall behind me are the names of those who have gone before. To this splendid company, we now add our class of 2012. With primal sounds, at once beautiful and dangerous, these English lads built a band that earned from an admiring world a whole lot of love. A tall drink of water from Indiana who aspired to be Johnny and earned a late-night throne for a guy named Dave. A Louisiana sharecropper's son who made his way to sweet home Chicago and became America's champion of the blues. A sparkling beauty from St. Petersburg whose passion and elegance filled movement with meaning, giving new excitement to the words prima ballerina. As a graduate, a midnight cowboy, a little big man, a rain man, and even as a Tootsie, this actor redefined the movie's idea of a leading man. These are our 2012 Kennedy Center honorees.
The Kennedy Center Honors, sponsored by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. Ladies and gentlemen, 2009 Kennedy Center honoree, Robert De Niro.
I first met Dustin at a party in 1968. I was his waiter. There was an instant connection when he said to me, "How's the flounder?" Dustin is a world-class, spectacular, colossal pain in the ass. Before Dustin burst on the scene, it was pretty much okay for movie stars to show up, read their lines, and, if the director insisted, act a little. And then Dustin came along. He made a statement that what the actor does is important, and it was inspiring. What Dustin did for all of us was to make it okay to be a character actor and a movie star. He broke the mold of the movie star as the handsome leading man. That's good news for all of us, even if it depresses the hell out of him. Dustin, you make me proud to be an actor, and I'm proud to be your friend.
Art puts a face on it. See, it makes us feel it. It makes us understand it. We're flawed. We're human.
Willie?
And I think the artist is the person who is going by his gut and damn the torpedoes.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Growing up in Southern California, he felt like the odd man out. He'd look up at the sky and feel lost. Then he stumbled into an acting class, and the pieces fit. He lit out for New York and the theater with all the fury of a man possessed. 10 years of classes and auditions, scrounging and playing Turgenev off-Broadway.
I was starting to get something that had an authenticity for me. I was creating characters that I felt, ooh, I'm learning.
Then a call out of the blue.
13 Baker, take one, sound 67.
Mike Nichols asked him to test for a role that had been written for a tall, blonde wasp.
I don't want to do it. I don't think I'm right for it.
Oh, God.
Is anything wrong? You look a little shaken up.
Oh, no. I'm just a little worried about my future. Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. Aren't you?
With one movie, a new kind of star was born. One foolish and brave enough to risk his fame to play characters who go against the grain.
I'm scared. What are you scared of?
You know what they do to you when they know you can't. When they find out that you can't walk. Oh, Christ.
A door inched open in American movies, and Dustin slipped through. The actor with the everyman's face who embodied the heartbreakingly human.
Can I have some orange juice?
Orange juice, right. Right, one OJ coming up. For the kid.
Daddy, it's burning! It's burning!
What?
It's burning!
Oh, damn it! Oh, damn her!
Mr. Carl, I'm an actress. I'm a character actress. I can play this part any way you want.
Honey, I'm sure that you're a very, very good actress. It's just that you're a little bit too soft and genteel. You're not threatening enough.
Not threatening enough? How's this? You take your hands off me, or I'm gonna knead your balls right through the roof of your mouth. Is that enough of a threat?
I like having you for my brother.
I'm an excellent driver.
Yes, you are.
Put me in there, in that place with somebody. And that's, you know, and that's worth everything.
I am not a diamond dozen. I am Willie Loman.
As an actor, he is difficult and demanding, and the creator of more iconic characters than almost any other.
Hi, I'm Carl Bernstein.
Stardom was never his destination. It's what he did with it that changed us and what we call a leading man. Dustin would say, a man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what's a heaven for?
In Tootsie, Dustin Hoffman played a driven, meticulous actor. It's said that in looking for an inspiration for that character, Dustin found it in Dustin Hoffman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Connolly.
Dustin persuaded director Sidney Pollack to let him stage an improvised acting class taught by his character. In the scene, the perennial out-of-work actor conducts an acting class for other perennially out-of-work actors.
You gotta work. There's no excuse for not working.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liev Schreiber.
There's no excuse for not working. There's unemployment. It's never gonna change. You're an actor, you're in New York City. There's no work, but you gotta find ways to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, Naomi Watts.
Dustin said, it's so tough to have this ego and not be able to work. A writer can write, a painter can paint, but what can an actor do? Well, he pays other actors to be the audience and calls it a class.
The first time I saw Dustin in action, I was 14 years old. A friend slipped me a suspicious-looking VHS tape whispering the two magic words every 14-year-old boy longs to hear. Dirty movie. I waited till my mother was asleep to play it. I was very excited. The movie was Midnight Cowboy. It turned out to be a completely magical experience for me. Not the magical experience I was expecting or hoping for, but it did change my life. I'd never seen anyone create characters like that before. So incredibly lifelike and detailed, and yet still somehow something more than real. I had to do that. I had to act like Dustin Hoffman. Not just me, all of us. You and Ratso Rizzo redefined acting for a new generation forever.
It was one of the great acting experiences of my life. About 15 years ago, I got a call, and I was asked to meet Dustin Hoffman for a film that he was directing. I wasn't allowed to read the script in advance, so I felt completely unprepared to meet the master. So I had my 30-minute slot. I was there for 5 hours, but that's Dustin. And for the first hour, all I could do was worry. What did he want? What was the movie about? Would I be right for the character? Would my car get towed? And finally, I settled down and I read some scenes. And he hovered over me with his smoky voice and his laser instincts.
Good, good, that's good. Be more specific. Just go with the text, no choices for now. That's good. Try it again.
What I learned in those few hours with Dustin was possibly more value to me than a lifetime of acting classes. In a sense, it was the most important audition of my life. I didn't get the part, but a few years later, my dream came true, and I did get to work with Dustin Hoffman in I Heart Huckabees. Dustin, I hope you know, I heart Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman doesn't rewrite Shakespeare, despite what everyone says. It was my honor to be directed by Dustin in Quartet, and I can tell you that as a director, he gives his actors everything he wants for himself. It's no surprise he's a great director. He's been directing himself for years. In Quartet, I was miscast terribly as a gentleman getting on in years. Yes, quite a stretch. So I asked Dustin for some tips on how to play an older person. He told me, beware of involuntary noises. Never miss a chance to have a pee. Hum non-existent tunes all through dinner. And most importantly, don't forget to stick out your tongue when the soup spoon's only halfway to your face. For Dustin, it just comes down to doing it properly. That's what Dustin does, and it comes out perfect, always.
Critics have noted that Dustin's very physical appearance changes with each role.
Each one a mirror into the soul of the artist.
It's truth, and it's perhaps why we've grown accustomed to his face.
No matter what the role, he almost makes the day begin.
We've come to know him so well. It's as if we've grown accustomed to the tune that he whistles night and noon.
His smile.
His frowns.
His ups.
His downs.
They're second nature to us now. Like breathing out and breathing in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Osnes.
We were serenely independent and content before we met. Surely we could always be that way again. And yet, we've grown accustomed to his looks, accustomed to his voice, accustomed to his face. We've grown accustomed to his face. He almost day begin. We're all so grateful he's an actor. He's not easy to forget, rather like a habit one can always break. And yet we've grown accustomed to his looks, accustomed to his voice, accustomed to his
Ladies and gentlemen, 1999 Kennedy Center honoree, Judith Jamison.
I responded to destiny. That's what Natalia Makarova said in London just before her 30th birthday. She was touring with Russia's fabulous Kirov Ballet. She knew she needed new choreography to fulfill her promise as a dancer. So she made the brave decision to make a new life in the West, where she would thrill audiences and enhance and enrich American ballet theater. When I first saw Natalia, I remember saying, now that's a ballerina. She was absolutely precise. She refers to it as harnessing my body when it rebels like an unbroken horse. Natalia, your passion and your artistry are loved around the world. On behalf of dancers everywhere, bravo.
To become a ballerina means to bring into ideal balance the physical possibilities of your body with the possibilities of your soul.
To dance for Natasha means to turn her body into the soul of the character she becomes.
I was a silly girl. I was kind of uncontrollable. That's what my mother said.
Then she started studying at the Vaganova School in Leningrad, the toughest of them all. Natasha said it was torturous. Therefore, I was totally engrossed. She was taught that the inner life of the character had to be as true as the steps had to be perfect. She was invited to join the country's pride and joy, the Kirov Ballet. For 10 years, she was all they revered in their dancers and a symbol of their traditions. But the system dictated her repertoire.
Everything was predictable. I was afraid I will not have inspiration anymore.
At the peak of her powers, she had to choose between her home and her art. On tour in the West, she made up her mind.
I left Russia because I wanted new roles. I needed the excitement of working with new choreographers.
choreographers rush to work with her, artists to their muse. The story of ballet in the West was rewritten because of her. Poetry in motion. She transplanted her Russian legacy to the soil of her new home in the West, the American Ballet Theater.
Stretch the knee more. You feel like one leg you have, not two.
From the beginning, dance to Natasha has been a state of grace between the body and the soul. It is her way into the human heart.
From American Ballet Theater's Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School, Grace Ann Pierce. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Peck. Ladies and gentlemen, Alina Kojikaru and Angel Correa. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Kent and David Hallberg. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcelo Gomez. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica Park. The Kennedy Center Honors, sponsored by Travelers, insurance for auto, home, and business. Ladies and gentlemen, 2008 Kennedy Center honoree, Morgan Freeman.
Brother God, you don't know this, but the first time I heard the blues, I was on my grandmother's porch in Tallahatchie County, Mississippi. I think we're about the same age, come from the same area of the country. Remember they used to call that gut bucket. You remember. Well, here's what you did. You used that music as your starting point. You found a new music that no one ever heard before. And without the internet, without YouTube, or even FM radio, you went viral. That's right, mister. Viral. And you made a bridge from roots to rock and roll. Your blues brought us together. And you know what I think? I think that's something to sing about.
The first time I met the blues, I was walking down through the woods. You know the blues got after me, and you know they didn't do no good.
A sharecropper's child, born in Louisiana. He built his first guitar with wires from the screen door, played it all night long. His father said, "Son, you need to go where the music is made." His mother said, "You go on now, we'll be fine." His ticket was one way to Chicago, where clubs lined the streets, pain and joy sat side by side, and the blues was the sound it made. Home of chess records, where the big guys played. Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter.
If I was picking up a note from Muddy, picking up a note from Sonny Boy, and say, I can't get that. 5 minutes, I'd go pick it back. My fingers was bleeding on the end of it, man.
He cranked up the volume and let loose. Part showman and all musician, he said, I wanted to blast that thing.
I just can't stand still. I get happy with it. And that's a part of what you see in me when I play.
He blasted the blues right into the 60s and the festival circuit. But rock and roll favors the young guns, and Buddy fell out of the limelight. It was 20 years of small clubs and making pocket change. But some guitarists had been listening to him all along. They took Buddy's licks into rock and roll. Eric Clapton said, we owe him everything.
Thank you. Buddy Guy.
It's yours.
And Buddy Guy is going to help us out.
And in Sweet Home Chicago is his club, where the blues can be heard all through the night. The life I've lived is what we're singing about, he says. The funny thing is, when you sing the blues, you lose them. And ain't that a beautiful thing?
Well, you know, I just can't be satisfied, and I just can't keep from crying.
The Kennedy Center Honors will return with Tracy Chapman, Jeff Beck, and Bonnie Raitt. The Kennedy Center Honors in tribute to Buddy Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Chapman.
Oh, I feel all right this morning. I want everybody to know that I was the one to say, you ain't nothing but a hound dog snooping around my door. Ain't nothing but a hound dog snooping around my door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. You told me you were high class, but I can see through that. Yes, you told me you were high class, but I can see through that. Oh, and Daddy, I know you ain't no real cool guy. Hey, oh, now take it away. Ain't nothing but a hound dog snooping around my door. Ain't nothing but a old hound dog snooping around my door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Clark Jr. and Jimmy Vaughn.
Things that I used to do. Lord, I won't do no more. Things that I used to do. Lord, I won't do no more. I used to sit and hold your hand now, baby. Cry, baby, don't go.
I'm gonna send you back to your mama, darling. Lord, I'm going back to my family too. 'Cause ain't nothing I can do to please you, darling. Lord, I just can't get along with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beth Hart and Jeff Beck.
Something told me that it was over, baby. When I saw you and that girl, and you was talking. Something deep down in my soul said, go on and cry, girl. When I saw you and that same person and you was walking by. And I'd rather, baby, be a blind girl, baby, than to see you walk away from me, baby. Don't leave me. I don't want to see you go. Your warm embrace, your warm embrace. When I looked down in the glass that I held to my lips, and I saw the reflection of the tears rolling down my face, that's when I knew I loved you and I couldn't do without you, and I'd rather be a blind girl, baby, baby. Go on and cry, girl. When I saw you and that same person and yours walking by, and I'd rather go blind, I'd rather go blind, I'd rather go blind than to see you walk away. Don't walk away, 'cause I'd rather go blind.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bonnie Raitt.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go?
the Kennedy Center Honors, sponsored by the all-new, redesigned 2013 Chevrolet Malibu. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Kennedy Center, David Rubenstein.
This honors celebration reminds us of the vital role that the arts play in our lives and the importance of the Kennedy Center to our country. For 41 years, this Center for the Performing Arts has entertained and inspired millions of people every year. With your help, we will continue to commission the best in music, theater, and dance. Finally, our promise that we will maintain our commitment to excellence. And now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tina Fey.
David Letterman began his career as a choreographer and black opera singer in the early 1950s, just so that one day he could qualify for this award. Mr. David Letterman, as I call him out of respect and fear, has unknowingly been a family friend of mine since I was 10 years old. My mom, Jean, and I spent every weekday morning of the summer of 1980 watching the David Letterman show. Who was this Dave Letterman guy? Was he a brilliant, subtle, passive-aggressive parody of a talk show host? Or just some Midwestern goon who was a little bit off? Well, here we are, 32 years later, and time has proven that there's really just no way of knowing. By the time I left for college, late night had cemented its place as the epicenter of culture for anybody who wasn't a dope. Every single boy I went to college with was basically doing a 24-hour-a-day David Letterman impression. They would, whenever possible, use old-timey phrases like program and goof and for the love of God, folks, don't try this at home. And it really worked to make me like them. And I'm not embarrassed to say that by graduation, I had been turned down by dozens of David Letterman impersonators. But the joke's on you, college nerds, because I grew up to be an off-brand weirdo, and I have been, if the internet is to be believed, lucky enough to appear on The Late Show with David Letterman 15 times. Only sometimes because somebody more important had canceled. Yes, I have met Mr. David Letterman 15 times, and I feel like now, if I saw him in a restaurant, I actually know him well enough to know that he would not want me to bother him. Dave is someone you watch not just because you like him, but because you fantasize that he would like you. In fact, you could argue that Mr. Letterman's at his best when he's interviewing someone you suspect maybe he doesn't like at all. Whether it's calling Bill O'Reilly a bonehead, or asking Paris Hilton about eating hard-boiled eggs in jail, which is really a piece of poetry. Watch it again if you haven't seen it lately. Or just sitting back and letting Madonna be a high-status dum-dum. David Letterman is a professor emeritus at the Here's Some More Rope Institute. And tonight, we declare it officially. My mom was right. David Letterman, you are an American treasure. Like the Grand Canyon, or the Chicago skyline, or the top 2 Kardashians.
Top 10 reasons I love being Dave's mom. Here we go, number 10.
When I see him on his show, I know he's not in jail.
That's right. It's just that simple.
Meet the Lettermans. An Indiana family as normal as pie. And then there was Dave. hoping for a date with destiny. It was at college that he found out what he was good at: fooling around on camera. He headed west with a secret wish: to be funny enough to be invited on the Johnny Carson show. He labored 3 years in the jungles of television. Then he got the call. The curtains part, your heart is pounding, and all the time you're wondering, what will Johnny say?
I have a feeling from your shot on this show tonight, you're going to be working a lot outside the Comedy Store.
Thank you.
Really, I hope you come back with us.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
He went from Johnny's guest to guest host. Then got a morning show of his own. A great show, wrong time of day. What he needed was a time slot so late, he'd be free to try anything. This is what kids were watching after their parents went to bed.
Hi, I'm Mr. Curious.
Mr. Curious?
Mr. Curious? I just want to ask you a couple of questions. What do you do for a living?
I'm a mailman.
So it's going to go through the roof.
Those steroids, by the way, apparently don't affect your ego, do they?
It was a new territory for a talk show, and a new kind of funny. Dave had dreamed of inheriting his hero's throne and time slot. When he didn't get it, CBS grabbed him and hoped his young audience would follow. And so began the next 20 years of Dave's revolutionary ride.
You get a big house, everybody's seen it on TV. Right. Every idiot in the area is going to drive by honking now.
Was that you?
After 30 years, Dave is still unhinging the doors of comedy. And that's why we keep watching, because we never know where he'll go.
You're from, as I recall, you're from Bangladesh?
Yeah, I'm from Bangladesh.
Okay. Does she share her materials?
Yes.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, but when she goes out on the...
Does she work well with others?
Sort of.
Right.
But when she goes
Is she constantly interrupting?
You are.
The guy who broke all the rules became the most decorated man in television. Now, every night, there are bright young comedians all over America inspired by David Letterman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alec Baldwin.
Watching The Late Show with David Letterman is like being on a roller coaster. It's exhilarating, it's also dangerous, scary, it makes you sweat, and sometimes when it's over, you throw up. And that's just the viewers. Now, we know that Dave has fun at our expense, so we wanted to cook up something to turn the tables on him. Something that would get him out of his comfort zone. Something that would make him squirm. Something he would hate. So tonight we're giving him the Kennedy Center Award. It's perfect. First, Dave had to travel all the way from New York City to Washington, D.C. A journey of 200 miles on a private jet. We have him sit in a box and watch artists perform for 2 full hours. Put him in a big room full of people he doesn't know. Make him wear a tux with plain old black socks. And then we don't let him say anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Kimmel.
For any entertainer, being honored at the Kennedy Center is the crowning moment of a long and outstanding career. And for David Letterman, this is also unquestionably the single worst night of his life. Look at him. I know he's smiling, but that medal hanging around his neck, there's a 40% chance he'll hang himself with it. But despite the fact that he will hate every second of this, I'm here tonight to talk about how great Dave is and what he means to me as a talk show host and as a woman. In February of 1983, when Late Night with David Letterman went on the air, I was 15 years old and lucky enough to have a little black and white TV set in my bedroom. Every night, after my parents went into their room to molest each other, I'd stay up late secretly watching Johnny Carson, and then I started staying up later to watch the guy who went on after him. And while I loved Johnny, I fell in love with Dave. When I turned 16, I blew out the candles on a Late Night with David Letterman cake that my mom made me. My first car had a late night vanity plate. I drew pictures of Dave on the covers of all my textbooks. I started a Late Night with David Letterman club in high school. To me, it wasn't just a TV show. It was the reason I would fail to make love to a live woman for many, many years to come. Every night, I wanted to be David Letterman. All my friends wanted to be David Letterman. Ironically, the only person who didn't want to be David Letterman is David Letterman. And that is a shame because you, Dave, are the funniest, the smartest, the weirdest, the coolest, and the best one ever, hands down. And the greatest thrill of my career came last month when Dave agreed to be a guest on my show. He could tell I was nervous, so right before the show, he came to my dressing room and just held me. But Dave, whether you like it or not, you are my hero, and you are a hero to most everyone in this room, with the possible exception of the people who came to see the ballerina. No one will ever measure up to you. It's impossible because we wouldn't know how to do this without you. You taught us, you inspired us, and most of all, you made us laugh really hard. Thank you, Dave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Romano.
I've always thought as a performer, the last thing you want to do is bomb in front of Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Just, they were a big part of my childhood. I lost my virginity to the first 2 minutes of Stairway to Heaven. Seriously. I did. And I apologize for the next 11. That's a long song. But while Led Zeppelin was very memorable in my life, David Letterman changed my life. I was 36 years old. I had been doing stand-up for about 11 years, making a modest living. And I remember earlier in that year, I thought I had my big break. I got cast in a sitcom, and it was very exciting. I had 3 little kids. My wife and I were living in Queens. We started to film the pilot, and after day 1 of rehearsal, I got fired. Yes, it was rough, but I didn't even think of quitting because Dave was out there. He was where I wanted to go. And yes, I got fired, but do you quit? Do you quit? You want to win the World Series. Do you quit? You're down 1 game to nothing. No, you keep going. You keep going. Do you quit when you're down 1-0 in debates? No. No. You keep going. I have to tell you, I sometimes wonder where I would be if it wasn't for Dave, where any of us comics would be. I'd still be doing stand-up because that's what I love to do. I'd probably be on the road. Every now and then, I guess I'd have to do Kimmel. You're still
right here.
But Dave was the best, and I had just done his show, and then it was 3 days later. I remember exactly where I was. It was a Saturday, and we got a phone call at my house. My wife told me it's the Letterman people, and I didn't know. I was a little worried. I was like, what are they? You know, did someone see me steal the mug? Why are they calling? And it was the producer who said Dave liked what he saw. He wants to talk about signing you to a development deal and possibly developing a show. And that show was Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah. Here's the thing, Dave. I know you hate all this. But if you believe one thing, believe that what Johnny Carson was for you, you are for the rest of all of us here. And I don't want to get schmaltzy. I don't want to end, because I'm not good at that. I know you're not good. But you know what? The hell with it. My father passed away. I never told him I love him. Dave, I know you're only 65. You look good. The heart's working. But I ain't taking any chances. I love you, David Letterman.
Right. I just want to ask you a question. When you're on The Late Show, does Dave talk to you during the commercial breaks?
I try to initiate conversation.
Like what? What do you do?
That's just that I can never figure out what to talk about. I remember before one appearance, I actually raised my cholesterol just so we'd have something in common. Yeah. How about nothing? He doesn't talk to you at all?
No, but I can sometimes tell that he's thinking about me.
Yes. I've had a few of those.
Alec, does he talk to you?
Since he stopped smoking cigars, we have nothing to say to each other at all.
Remember, Tina, does Dave talk to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we talk all the time.
No.
Yeah, we talk about everything, yeah. Our kids, what we're doing on the weekend, books we're reading, yeah.
You don't get paid more than us, though, right?
Oh, no. No, everybody gets scale.
It's scale.
Oh, yeah.
600, what is scale? It's like 600 and...
Something like that.
$678, yeah. I think. Although that's $296 after taxes.
Hey, David Letterman, thank you for all you've done for all of us.
For all of us, everywhere.
You've heard us say wonderful things about you tonight. We're really sorry. I promise this won't happen again.
Thank you, Dave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Black.
Led Zeppelin! Bonzo! Led Zeppelin, the greatest rock and roll band of all time. Yeah. That's right. Better than the Beatles, better than the Stones, even better than Tenacious D. Yeah. And if you don't agree with me, it's because you never did the Zeppelin Marathon. The Zeppathon is when you sit your ass down and listen to all 9 Zepp albums in a row. Yeah. It's the rock and roll Hajj. The thing that every true fan must do at least once in their lifetime. The pilgrimage to heavy metal Mecca. The jams of Led Zeppelin are second to none. Just ask anyone, from Oliver Stone to Paul Ryan and everyone in between. They sang songs about love, about Vikings, about Vikings making love. You know, they say that Led Zeppelin sold their souls to Satan. Come on, guys, you know you did. There's no other way to explain your ungodly talents. I just want to say thank you because while you're in hell, the human race will cherish your heavenly jams till the end of time. It's a small price to pay. We love you. Best band ever.
Hey, mama, said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Complex, beautiful, and dangerous.
Said the way you swing, gonna make
Rock giants who strode the world for 10 years. Robert Plant grew up in England's Midlands.
I should have quit you.
American blues was his everything. He formed a group with his friend John Bonham. John had been playing drums since he was 5. Jimmy Page, the top guitarist in London's recording sessions. It was there he met John Paul Jones. Jonesy could play anything. Jimmy's band was breaking up, and he asked Jonesy to form a new one. They went looking for a lead singer. And found the raw blues they were looking for. John Bonham made it 4. Power chords. Power music. Their first album burst rock at its seams. Around the world they went. Like gods of rock unleashing the power of music. Setting nights on fire.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying staring to heaven. And when
their music brought us to paradise.
If the stores are all closed,
Masters, one and all. Jimmy Page stole the lightning from the heavens. Robert Plant, seduced like the devil.
been working for himself.
John Paul Jones made poetry out of every note. And John Bonham was a man on fire. His death broke the heart of the band. And a chapter of rock history had come to a close. Now 3, they followed separate paths. Plant traveled from the sands of Marrakesh to the bluegrass of Tennessee. Jones put his talents to work behind the music, producing and scoring. And Page remains rock's premier virtuoso. Just one more time, 27 years later. They had us all over again. Taking the seat of his dad, Jason Bonham. A band like no other. They shook the world of rock, and those vibrations can still be felt today.
The Kennedy Center Honors will return with Lenny Kravitz. The Kennedy Center Honors, sponsored by ProjectLuna.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, Kid Rock.
Leaves are falling all around. It's time I was on my way. Thanks to you, I'm much obliged for such a pleasant stay. But now it's time for me to go. The autumn moon lights my way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny Kravitz. Ladies and gentlemen, the son of John Bonham, Jason Bonham. Ladies and gentlemen, from Heart, Ann and Nancy Wilson.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, with a word she can get what she came for. She's buying a stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In the tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. Ooh, makes me wonder. There's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving. In my thoughts and she's buying a stairway to heaven.
Travel provided by Delta, the official airline of the Kennedy Center Honors.
So now it's time to bring down the curtain. Tonight's celebration has come to an end. But for our honorees, for you, the show will always go on. You have graced our stages, you have graced our lives, you have graced our history. Now it's time for you to take another bow and us to show our gratitude.